Hi guys. So happy to be able to provide you with these video workouts on the reformer. I hope you're doing well and staying healthy. And so what I've planned on doing, as I mentioned in my email yesterday, is that I'll do a couple of 30-minute sessions a week, and then that way you'll have a total hour. But I think this will work better. Rather than trying to dismantle your current program the way you're performing it, we're going to integrate elements into it. So all of these blocks today, and there's 6 blocks today, these are all going to be able to be integrated into your current program. And so there's very little redundancy. There's maybe one exercise that you might already be performing, and so consequently you may not have to add that one in. But the rest of these should all integrate well, and I can kind of tell you also exactly where these would go. So we're going to start with block 1, and block 1 is going to be upper body. For you, Traycee, probably 1.5 springs, so 1 heavy, 1 light. And then for you, Jim, you can do 3 to 4 springs. You can do 3 of those pretty heavy because this is upper body. And so what we're going to do is we're going to shorten the straps and get those ready. And right, and then we're going to be using our pole. So you're going to grab your pole, and what you want to do is slip that on there, and you want it kind of narrow so that you're going to be able to hold on the outside. And what I need you to do is move back quite a bit. Okay, we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to have our palms up, and we're going to be rowing straight back. So you're going to sit nice and tall through the center of that skull, and you're going to pull straight in and out. Yeah, in and out. So sliding the underside of your arm alongside your torso with the palms up, yeah. You get a little bit more bicep this way, but you're still working the lats, the wide part of the back. And you'll get a little bit of trapezius here as well, yeah. And let's go 4 more. We're gonna do 2 sets of these. Sit up nice and tall. So this is gonna be plunked right down, integrated into your upper body work, yeah. And 1 more. And then take a breather. So the whole series where you're holding the straps and you're doing rows, and then you're doing shoulder extensions, and you're performing bicep curls and higher rows, all of those, this could be integrated right into that, okay? I'm gonna go again. So pull and out, exhale and inhale. Think of cracking that egg between your scapula, yeah? And pull, good. That's it. Looking so forward to seeing you guys again, but in the interim, thrilled that we're able to see each other, yeah? And let's go 4, yeah? And 3, good, 2, and 1 more. Good, and then we're gonna turn those palms over, and on this one, because the arm's gonna come up, you wanna be careful. If the load feels too heavy on this one, Jim, take it down. I think you'll be okay at 1.5 there, Traycee. So we're gonna pull straight into the chest and out, yeah. That's it. Keep your shoulders packed down, sit up nice and tall. Yes, that's it, good. Exhale and inhale, pull and control, back and in. Good, and 4 to go. 4, and back. Good, 2, and 1 more time. And then take a breather, yeah? And use this time just to reset your posture, get those shoulders down and back, rib cage lifted, navel to spine, pelvic floor up and in. And let's just creep those fingers out a little bit further here so we get more of a wing kind of action. Watch the shoulder, Jim, yeah? That's it, and pull. Good, and still crack an egg between shoulder blades. Here we're really working trapezius and rear deltoid. And of course a little bit of bicep, yeah? And pull and control, exhale and inhale, back and in, good, and back, 4 to go. And it's 4 and 3, excellent, 2, good, and 1 more. Okay, all right, so block 2, I want you guys to be very careful here. So both if you have back issues and if you don't like the way this feels, then you just simply don't do it. And on this particular one, you just want 1 to 1.5 springs, and that's for both of you. You want to go light because you are leaning back. And so we're really going to pull that pelvic floor up strong here, compress your abdomen, and you're just going to lean back a little bit and curl as you do, and then come back up. Yeah, and back. So if you don't like the way this feels to your back, stop immediately and just do the bicep curl. Okay? And back. Keep that wrist in neutral. And back. So it's really individual how far back we go. We usually recommend about 45 degrees. There are folks that go way back. I don't even take down my foot bar because I don't want to go any further back than this. And a couple more. Back. And in. And one more time. Back. And in. And on this one, we're just going to do one set. Now, if you're just doing the curls and not the hinge back, then you can do 2 sets of biceps as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to come in and we're going to just let those straps sit there on the hooks, and let's put that pole aside. All right, so this next series is going to be done with a long box, and I really think you can do this, Tracey, because I'm going to show you how to adjust it so that it doesn't bother the wrist. If it does bother the wrist, we're going to be chatting, okay, after you do this video, and I can adjust it accordingly. So we're going to set up that long box, and this one will work upper body, but it's also going to be a very significant nose to toes core challenge. And on this one, we just want that 1 to 1.5 springs. In fact, I'm just going to go myself with a half, and you may be doing that as well, Tracey, because it is very challenging. So what we do here, and on this one, you may just want to get that foot bar kind of out of the way a little bit. Okay, so you want this set up so that you can come on top. And again, because the load is light, be very careful when you're getting set up that you don't pull too hard, because again, for me particularly, like I've only got on a half spring. Okay, so this wrist here really doesn't need to be flexed or pushed down hard. You've got some good support with this knee, and if you need to pad that knee, Tracey, do that. And you're going to have your palm facing the wall behind you, and you're going to pull straight back. So, a couple of suggestions here. In the event you really can't do it, Tracey, then what you're going to do is give yourself a longer strap, so you'll take back out the length in that strap, okay, and see if that doesn't resolve it for you. Yeah, that's it. So we're working that rear deltoid and the lat, and of course nose to knees core here. Yeah, and pull, and in, exhale, and inhale. Couple more. Keep that belly pulled up strong. Yeah, and one more time. Pull, and all the way forward. And just drop the strap outside. We're going to switch sides. I always recommend you just kind of stand up for a second there. It gives you a little break from that nose to knees core positioning. Put that foot up there. So you've got one kneeling, one foot here, and then we're going to pull straight back. So another suggestion on if it's too difficult. If it's too difficult, you would move further forward. Too easy, you move further backward. And if you keep hitting the bumper back there, you need to move further backward. Yeah. And pull, keeping shoulders packed, rib cage lifted, navel to spine. Nice and smooth, no movement there at the elbow. Yeah. And back. Let's go for a couple more. Good, and last one. And then all the way in. And then drop that out. Again, I'd stand up for a second. Now we're going to actually come back in that same position, and we're going to do some tricep kickbacks. Okay? So with a kickback, you want to make sure that the shoulder is frozen. So there's no movement in the shoulder at all. Okay? And you're going to get right back in that same position there. Now, you guys have an elevated one like this, okay? You can try it without a box. It may be high enough that you're able to do that. If it's not quite high enough, what you can do is add your extender on there or an AirX pad, something to boost you up a little higher so that foot's not going to be trailing down on the floor and in your way. All right, so here we're going to bring that arm into a flex position, and we're going to kick back and in. And again, this one's kind of surprising. Doesn't take a lot of load here. I've only got a half on for me. Yeah. And same thing here, Tracey, if you need to create a longer strap to work with, you can do that. And you can watch that you're not putting too much pressure on that wrist. Yeah. That's it. And kick. And in a couple more. Back. And in one more time. Back. And all the way in. And then I drop that out. Again, I would stand up for a second. And this gives yourself a chance to reset that posture again. Because this gets tiring. That's why I said it's also nose to toes core. You're having to support yourself. It's like you're in a quadruped position essentially for all of this series. And again, this would still be considered upper body. So you can integrate this into your upper body segment with your current program. Okay? Pop that arm, and then let's kick it back and in. Kick it back and in. Keep shoulders packed. And again, not too much pressure there on the wrist. That's it. Good, good. Back and control in. It was a real nice job of training those triceps. That's back and in. Let's shoot for one more. Back and in. All right. Great job. Okay. So next, we're going to create short box. So we want to turn that box. And then you're also going to need your extender. Now, if you don't, I couldn't remember if you guys had an extender. But if you don't, and here you're going to put, you just want one spring on there, one red spring. If you don't, then it's not real safe for you to have the box in short like this for glide. So you could do your foot on your platform instead, and then your other foot just on the carriage, as we have done many times, okay? So, and then we want our bar up. Okay. So you're going to step on the extender as always. Now, what we're going to do is a derivation on the theme here. So we've gotten accustomed to the glide out, working hip abductors and stretching hip adductors. Here we're actually going to be adding a tempo change to that. So you can still do the singles that you do in the arm reach. Add this in, integrate it. So out, 2, 3, and then come all the way back in. And press it out, 2, 3, and come all the way back in. Really pulling pelvic floor up here, navel embedded on the spine. 2, 3, and all the way back in. And press it out, 2, 3, and all the way back in. Good. All right. Then we're going to add a squat to this. You have to be very careful. You don't want to emphasize one side over the other. So you want to make sure that you are able to sit back in your squat and come back together with control. It's very easy to lose control here with that outside leg not able to control or hold that carriage in position. So be very careful. And all we're going to do is sit back in a squat and then come back in together and back. So tailbone goes to the wall behind you. There's not a lot of load on here. So you really want to focus on control. Sit back, tailbone to the wall behind you, pelvic floor up and in. Working quads, hamstrings, and glutes. And back. Good, good. And let's go 4 and 3. Good, 2, and one more. And then come all the way back in and step backward with the foot that's on the carriage. Now I'm going to walk around. I'm going to be facing away from you. There's no way to really avoid that here. So I will come back up here again, and we'll start with our glide out. Remember, this is 3 out, 1 in. I'm going to have to continue facing the window here or I'll fall off. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, bring it back in with control. Shoulders back, really tall posture here. And 2, and 3, and come back in. Again, press out, 2, 3, and back in. Out, 2, 3, and in, and one more. Out, 2, 3, and back in. Okay, and then here is your squat. So remember, sit back and up. Yeah, hinge from the hips. Make sure the weight's going behind you. The knees should not shoot over your toes. So the most that you should see in knee movement here in a forward direction is about over the shoelaces, but never over the toes themselves. Back and in. You can reach forward and back if you like. Yeah, and back and in. Good, and 4 to go. Working quads, hamstrings, glutes. Yeah, and 3. Good, 2, and one more. Back and in. Good. All right, and step backward with that foot. All right, how are you doing so far? Okay, so that segment again can be integrated with your standing segment as per usual. Okay, now we're going to get into a sprinter stance. And on this one, this had bothered your wrist previously, Traycee, so I just want you to watch what I'm doing. I'm putting next to no load here. My fingers are really just there for some mild support. So I'm going to get into that sprinter stance. Take my right foot back, and again, I'm just going to lift myself up, so I've really just got my fingers on here. And I'm really going to rely on my press back. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and bring it back in. And 1, 2, 3, and bring it back in. 2 more. Back, working glutes and hamstrings, nose to toes core, and 1 more. Back, 2, 3, and bring it all the way back in. And then step on with the other foot. I'm going to stand up for a second and just let my shins kind of rest on the foot bar, just to give myself a little relief from that. You can flex and extend, rotate wrist, but like I said, just don't put load down there. Rely on your lower body here and your nose to toes core. Taking the left foot back, yeah, very light hold here, keeping the wrist in neutral, and press back, 2, 3, come back in. Yes, and back, 2, 3, and in. 2 more. Back, 2, 3, and 1 more time. Back, 2, 3, and all the way in. Nice work. Now take that foot and step outside and onto the floor. All right, good job. Okay, so now we're going to remove the block and the box and the extender. And we're going to work specifically on core. So this can go right in with your other core training. Yeah. So on this one, usually we have 1 to 3 springs on. So for Jim, for you, usually we've got 3 on during this time. And Traycee, usually it's 1.5 for you. Okay. Of course, every day is different. Listen to your body. And we will come on down. So just a couple of additions here to this series. Slip down. All right. Okay, so on this one, we want those legs in tabletop, and I'm just going to do this real slow initially just so you can kind of get the rhythm pattern here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and I'm going to pump my arms 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to bend my legs and bring my arms back to straight over the chest. And the head can be up or down. If you can have it up at least part of the time, that would be preferable. So shoulders packed, rib cage lifted, navel to your spine, pelvic floor up and in. Come up and pump arms from the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and bring it back. And again, torso just stays still once it's up there. And 3, and bring it back down. Up, 2, 3, and back in, and up, 2, 3, and bring it back in, up, 1, 2, 3, and back in, and one more time, up, 1, 2, 3, and back. Feet back on the bar. So the derivation on the theme, so the next progression, I'm actually going to move my torso those 3 times that I'm pumping my arms. Again, you can keep the head down or you can keep the torso static. I'm going to bring the arms up over the chest, legs in tabletop, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then back down. And up, 2, 3, and back down. Again, up, 2, 3, and back down, and up, 2, 3, and back in, up, 2, 3, and back, and up, 2, 3, and back. A couple more, up, 2, 3, and back, and last one, up, 2, 3, and all the way back. All right, nice work. Okay. So that was block 5. Block 6, you're just going to be using one strap. Going to place the foot in the strap. Okay. And again, we do a full unilateral segment here, as you know. So I'm just going to add some variety to that. Okay. So again, you can just integrate this in with your unilateral work. What you're going to do is press out and in, press out and in, press out and in, and out, stay out, yeah? Lift up and down, lift up. We're not going all the way over the hip, just to about 45 degrees. Lift up and down, up and down, okay? So 4, 3, 2, 1, lift about 45 and down. So it's just up to that. It's not a huge range of motion. Really bearing down here, stabilizing on that carriage. And one more, and down. Good. Now bend the leg, put that other foot on the foot bar, remove the strap, and let's switch sides. So again, this is just a derivation on the theme. We do the flex and extend and the lift and the lower, and you can certainly still do all of that. But I want you to work a little bit more on the core component on this. So 4 out, 4, and really holding that other leg real still in tabletop, yeah. And 2, and 1, stay there. Lift up about 45 and down. So where you land is at about a 45-degree angle rather than a 90, yeah? That's it. Use that glute max. Hamstring stretching big time here. Yeah, very small movement. And down. Now back to your 4 in and out. 4, 3, good, 2, and one more. Push out and stay. Lift and down. Up, so just a small range of motion. Up and down, and last one, up and down. Then bend the leg, bring the other foot back on the foot bar, and remove the strap, and come all the way in. All right. Okay, great job, you guys. I will also be writing all this down in content form. So we're going to see how we're going to send this to you. We're not sure yet whether we're going to do it like we've been doing through our newsletters, how we're going to do that, and we're trying to reserve it so it's specifically just for you, but it's probably going to be on YouTube, but you'll be the only ones that will be able to access it. So anyway, I'll write these down as well. But like I said, you can integrate these in. And you know, I wouldn't integrate all of this in one session. Otherwise, you're going to be there for quite a while because this took about a half an hour. So what I would suggest is maybe add to the upper body. So work with block 1. And you know, then maybe the next week add in a little bit with block 2. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? And of course, I'm going to keep adding to your repertoire here each week with some new blocks so that we really keep it fresh innovative, and also I'll be looking to receive some feedback from you. So I really want to hear how this went. Was there anything you didn't quite understand, something that didn't feel quite right? You're going to tell me immediately, okay? And I will simply modify and change it for you, okay? So I hope that you're as excited as I am to get some new content going in your program. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much.